This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, let's get to it. Inter Miami opening up the season tonight against Real Salt Lake, and the great Alex Windley is ready to join us. AAW_1998. You can catch your work at the Bleacher Report, 90 Minutes US, and you also got to subscribe to the Heron's Nest. Did I get it all, Alex?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Orlando.
Make sure. How you been?
Good. Well rested. I was recovering from the stomach bug that I had coming back from my vacation, but I'm a lot better now. Thanks to antibiotics.
All right, there you go. I'm recovering too. Achilles, and I had like a bone spur stabbing one of my tendons that runs one of my toes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a boot on. I crossed the 2-week mark. I got 4 more weeks of this stuff. They'll take off the stitches next week, thank the Lord. But
Good.
yeah, I'm limited on 1 foot. I got to hop around where my wife is pushing me around in a little cart. I mean, it's bad, man. It's bad. At least I could do the show, and I can still do this, so it's actually pretty cool. All right, let's get into it tonight. Real Salt Lake. Now, I have some criticisms of the team in the preseason. A couple things that I personally didn't like, and I get it, man. You're paying so much money. You got to go out and try to generate revenue, and selling all those road games, even though you had to refund one of them. I get it. You're trying to make the money back, but you had a preseason where you didn't connect with your fan base. And I think having a preseason here with preseason games against MLS teams, maybe people that normally can't go to games can maybe afford some of the preseason games. You know what I would have done? Practice. Don't you? How much are you allowed to watch the beginning of practice? How long?
Honestly, the first 15 minutes. There's nothing. It's just like them doing rondos.
Right. And you know what I would have done? I would have made it a half hour. I would have put them all in the stadium, and I would have opened it up to the public along with the media. Kids come in, everybody sees it for free. They pay concessions, whatever, and then the team leaves a half hour later and they finish the rest of practice. And do more to connect with the fan base. There was no connection in the preseason. Those games were at odd times. They were, overseas. It was just, there was not a lot of real interest. I just thought, and I get the business side of it. I totally understand it. But I just thought it was a preseason that you didn't get to sell the sport locally to your fans and connect with people. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. I think next season they'll probably do more of a local national preseason. Yeah, I think this year they really wanted to capitalize on the Messi, Busquets, Alba, Suarez
the brand
names. Yeah, I mean that's part of sports management. It's also marketing and making sure your brand gets out there, and as well as winning and merch and all those things. Yeah, I mean, I know fans, local fans may have wanted more games here, but, you guys have the entire season to watch them live. So, yeah, how rarely do they get over to, Japan and Hong Kong and Saudi Arabia? Pretty rare. So, yeah, I can understand the frustrations, but it is marketing after all.
And then in the end, this is also a preseason that was taxing on them mentally and physically. So, and this is an older team. That's the other thing that I didn't like about it. And I get it again, the business side, the marketing. I totally understand the money, man. I that doesn't go over my head and all that. But that's the other thing. Where is this team after this long ass preseason that you did a lot of traveling?
I actually want to say, if you read some of the quotes from guys like Lawson Sunderland, Schneider Borgeland, they actually really enjoyed their time there as just traveling. Robert Taylor said the same thing. They said they never would have gone there otherwise, besides Inter Miami taking them. So from a fan perspective, sure, it could seem taxing, but the players definitely enjoyed that. And I know that they traveled with a lot of staff and personnel that made sure that they were comfortable and Nothing was tiring for them. I know it may have looked like that from the outside, but from a writer and journalist perspective, the players are comfortable and they were well taken care of. So
You
yeah,
think
I think it's a
you think
good.
you think they're pretty healthy and they're fresh enough?
Oh, for sure. Even
Okay.
Tata Martino said that yesterday. All of the big four are fully fit and ready to go 90 minutes. There's no injuries besides, the obvious Ian Frey, Franco Negri, etc. Yeah, so everyone's fully fit and ready to play a full 90 minutes tonight.
Okay. Who's missing? Frey. Who else?
Ian Frey, Franco Negri, Coco Jean was bought out last night, so he's no longer a part of the team. And then obviously, I think guys like Robbie Robinson, who is unfortunately just chronically injured and just looking to recover that. But other than that, everyone's fully fit.
Yeah, Robbie's not one that I've missed much, to be quite honest. It's just been that has been a disaster of a draft pick, unfortunately. It just has not worked out for the young man overall. Is this because, we see Gregory shipped off, the Kamal Miller one, Alex, you might as well kick me in the gut. Seriously. Actually, you know what? Kick me in the man parts when you got rid of Kamal Miller. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little worried about this team defensively. Are they top heavy? Do they not have enough role players around, people that are going to do the dirty work? Talk to me about how you see this overall team after all the cuts and everything that they had to do to get under, the financial restraints that they have to be under.
Yeah, I think they're better rounded than last season, which is going to sound surprising. Like last year, the beginning of the season, they started off pretty well with those 2 wins, and then Gregory gets injured, and Phil Neville didn't know how to coach that, so it got progressively worse. And we're really heavily reliant on the academy players, which they played well, but that's not how you make a successful MLS team. So I think this year, with a full off season of the veteran Big Four, and then you have the academy players coming back from what they experienced last season, having more experience under their belt, knowing what it's like to be a professional, getting more MLS minutes, David Ruiz, Benha, Kamrashki, Noah Allen. Heck, you can even throw in guys like Avilas, Diego Gomez, who played really well at the pre-Olympic tournament. They're getting comfortable now, and they're going to get significant minutes as well as the Big Four. And then you have new guys coming in like Federico Redondo, who I'm really excited about, and obviously Luis Suarez, who's shown that he's still capable of scoring as long as you give him the ball in the final third. I would say that there's 2 players per position on this squad, and let's say Busquets is injured, like he got injured during the was it the Hong Kong match? It's just an ankle tweak, but let's say if he couldn't start tonight, but he will be starting. You have a guy like Federico Redondo who's coming in, who could basically give Busquets a rest, so he's not out here stretching himself thin like he did last season. Additionally, you have midfielders like Diego Gomez, Benja Kamrashki, Ruiz, Sunderland. Yannick Breck, they still, the draft pick, they still could very well sign him. I'm really high on him. So they have a really nice midfield rotation, even with Gregory gone. So they could give guys the starters a rest. Julian Gressel, I neglected to mention, he's going to be playing a huge part this season as well. So, and in the attack, obviously, you have Suarez, you have Campana, Robert Taylor on the left-hand side, who looks very comfortable there. Obviously, Messi. It's a shame about Facu Farias because he would have gotten significant minutes. But I think besides the, center back situation, which I'm not too thrilled with, mainly because just the lack of athleticism with Christoph and Ryan Saylor. I'm fine with Nicholas Frere and Thomas Avilas. I think they're going to do really well once Frere is fully fit for 90 minutes. That's the only big concern. Left back, I'm not concerned. You have Jordi Alba, Franco Negri. DeAndre Yedlin is a workhorse, and he's going to probably play every game. If not, they have Izzy Boatwright, who they signed as well. So they're pretty 2 deep per position. And they still have money and room left over to make moves in the summer, with the selling Gregory and the buyout of Coco Jean. So even if they do need reinforcements, they can always, come back during the summer when all these tournaments are taking place, and all these players probably want moves to newer clubs. You know, with the Euros, Copa America, Olympics, players from abroad are going to be looking for moves. Miami could be that landing spot. So, you know, with Chris Henderson in the front office, I think Miami's pretty solid going forward and into the summer as well.
So I'm not worried about offense, but I am worried about the back line. So who do you expect to start? Because I know you gave us a lot of names. Who do you expect to start on the back line tonight?
Tonight, Nicholas Ferre is not fully 90 minutes fit. You know, he's still recovering from, you know, a 4-month layoff. He, you know, we saw him for about 45 minutes against Newell's, and I thought him and Toto Avilas looked really good. They kept everything in front of them, and no nonsense defending from the both of them. So I'm pleased with that. Once they're fully fit, I think that's the starting center back pairing tonight. I think Tata will probably go with Noah Allen as the left-sided center back with Jordi Alba on the left. Toto Avilas on the right and DeAndre Yedlin. I know that's telling because Noah is naturally, you know, he's a more of a fullback, right wing back, but he can play the center back. You know, we've seen him develop there, but the fact that Noah Allen is now preferred over a guy like Ryan Taylor or Sergei Kristoff shows that Tata just does not have trust in the two elder center backs compared to Noah Allen, which is fine. Noah's young. He's going to run everything down. He may not be a center back, but you know, he's going to play hard. He's from Miami. He's going to play for the club. And, you know, he's still learning. And I liked how he looked during preseason when he was playing all over the place. So I'm confident with that. But, yeah, once Nicholas Ferre is fully fit, I think that's the center back pairing going forward with Toto Avilas.
Are you okay? So do you expect the same, an improvement, or maybe a little bit of a step back on defense?
I think it's going to be an improvement with Ferre. I think people probably underestimate this, but, you know, Ferre is Argentinian. He speaks Spanish, obviously, with Toto Avilas next to him. They can
Kamal Miller, you're telling me I'm not going to miss Kamal Miller?
No, because if you watched last season, there were several times where Kamal was paired with Sergei Kristoff or Toto Avilas, and he was often beat for pace, like way beat for pace. Yes, there were a couple of tackles that he made that he hustled to get back, but there were so many times where he was just outran and out-paced by opposition attackers who were faster than him. And it's kind of telling how Phil Neville went and got him from to Portland, because I wrote in one of my pieces on the Substack that Neville likes ball-playing defenders that maybe aren't athletic, and that's exactly what Sergei Kristoff and Kamal Miller were. They're not very athletic, but they're decent on the ball, but that comes at a price. When Miami was playing that high line last year and they were exposed in defensive transition, they were always a step or two behind. With Ferre and Toto Avilas, you know, Avilas is quicker. Ferre is more athletic and a no-nonsense defender, so I think Miami will be better in that regard once he's fully fit. And I still think that they could probably add as the summer approaches as well.
Okay. All right. Well, then you make me feel so. Maybe I had Kamal Miller a little overrated. Then is what you're telling me.
I wouldn't say overrated. I just think he doesn't fit what this current Miami team is trying to do. Essentially, like I don't think they're going to play as high of a line. I think they're going to go with the mid block, more so possession based style. You know, with Redondo coming in, Busquets. That's going to be a pretty ball heavy center, a double pivot in midfield. So I'm looking forward to that. So once they have Busquets and Redondo in front of that back line, I think Miami will be set. You know, I think my biggest concern was midfield, that they needed another ball playing midfielder because they couldn't progress the ball out of the back for anything when Gregory was there, which he was a great player, but, you know, sometimes his ball playing capabilities were limited. But with Redondo coming in and Gressel, who's a really nifty on the ball, I think Miami will have a really good midfield to shield that back line. Worst case scenario happens, and they'll be pretty ball dominant. And Toto and Ferre can focus on, you know, keeping everything in front of them and defending pretty well.
Do you follow Miami FC also?
Honestly, I've been trying to. They're more local than Inter Miami is at the moment. FIU, it's about 30 minutes from my home. Yeah, they just don't market themselves well, but I do try to get out to a couple of games. Because
what I was asking is, when they had Fafa Picoult, who is in the MLS now, but like 5-6 years ago, when they had that run in the U.S. Open Cup, do you remember that they beat 3 MLS teams? I think that year we beat Atlanta, we beat Orlando, And I know we lost to Chicago in the quarterfinals or something of the U.S. Open Cup. But if you remember that team, that's why I was asking you that style of play. Was it that? Because that's the style of play where they kind of a lot of possession. It was a really good team. I think they had like an $11 million payroll that year. I worked for them at that time. I was a stadium announcer. And Ricardo, who is a phenomenal owner, by the way, he cares. He really wants to succeed. The only problem is he's one of those guys that doesn't want a salary cap. So, he's you know more. You know anything about the owner from that team?
No, I'm not familiar.
He owns all the rights to the Olympics and the Super Bowl and stuff like that in Central and South America. All the rights. Ricardo Silva's got money like he can print money. I'm serious. Like you talk about a deep-pocketed owner. Nobody would have kept Miami FC around this long. Only Ricardo Silva has done that because they don't even have the return. So that's why I was asking you if you remember that team about 5-6 years ago that made that U.S. Open Cup run, if that's the style of play that we're talking about. That's why I was asking you because
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember seeing them, so I can't say. But maybe if it's like a ball heavy possession based style that wants to go quick in the final third.
Not a lot of air balls. It's all ground. A lot of ground stuff. You'll have you have to have some air balls, but a lot of very very Central and South American style, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we're expecting from Inter this year, basically.
Yeah, most of the roster is from South America. Yeah, Paraguayans, Uruguayans, half of it's Argentinians. I think the starting 11, if you look at it, it's besides Robert Taylor, DeAndre Yedlin, and I'm looking at it here. Besides Gressel, Yedlin, Taylor, all of them are from South and Central America, and Noah Allen, who's American. So.
And Calendar.
Obviously. Yeah, Calendar as well. He's American. So
what a stud that kid is. What a find.
Yeah.
What a find, man. Wow, that is just absolutely amazing. All
right.
Yeah,
super nice guy too.
Yeah. Give us a preview. What are we expecting tonight with Real Salt Lake?
Yeah, so Real Salt Lake, they're going to play in a 4-2-3-1. They have dangerous wingers. They have Chicho Arango up top, who is a dangerous striker. Similar to Inter Miami, they're weak on defense. So, I would take Miami's attack versus any other MLS defense that's presumed to be weak. Obviously Messi, Suarez, Campana coming off the bench, Taylor. Even the midfield, Gressel can get into the final third. I think Miami will probably have the upper hand when it comes to attack, with this RSL defense that a lot of supporters say is not the best. So I think it'll probably be a game where whoever keeps the clean sheet and manages to score will win. Miami are at home and they want to put their good foot forward. Messi's fully fit to go in a full 90 minutes. So is Busquets, Suarez, Alba. So I think Miami will try to dictate the tempo, keep possession, keep RSL from getting into that final third, and keep the pressure on and try to score multiple goals, essentially. I think the biggest key is to keep the clean sheet. Maybe they will concede at least one, but I hate making predictions, but I think Miami will score multiple goals tonight and maybe concede at least one. But I think their mindset is to win tonight, without a doubt.
Are they the favorites in your eyes?
Yeah.
Should win the MLS Cup?
Oh, MLS Cup. Well, that's dependent.
The whole thing here. Who is the team that could derail Miami to a title? Talk to me.
Well, I'm gonna say the Crew because they're defending champions, but MLS is really, you can win the league last season, but play poorly the next, and it all depends. I don't know if Miami are the favorite. I think. Ask me, yes, on paper they should be the favorite, but ask me again in the summer, and it just depends on form and how the team is feeling and how their momentum is going once they make the playoffs, which they should. But on paper, yes, they should be the favorite. I know that they want to win they want to win Champions Cup as well as MLS. So either one of those trophies, I think they're gonna focus on. So
I trust the hell out of you. So you made me feel better about the defense because I was a little worried that maybe there might be a drop off on defense. So there's not. The only other concern that I have is just chemistry because they all haven't played together for a long time. A couple guys do know each other. A couple guys have played since last year. So talk to me about chemistry. How is that? Should that be a concern at all here in this first month?
No, I think that you have the preseason to thank, honestly, that long preseason when they played like 5 games in 2 days. Yeah, I think the bonding time that they were able to experience, abroad and Dallas, they played a lot of games. I mean, the games were not any more than any other MLS team did, but the fact that they were traveling together and constantly training and getting to know each other, I think that the chemistry is going to be better than what people expect. Obviously, it'll take time to settle, but even I posted some clips from the Newell's game where they were essentially playing tiki-taka, where it was just one-touch passing, and everyone knew where everyone was. And it was pretty pleasing to see from a Miami team that historically, they just bypassed the midfield and, played Phil Neville lump ball 99% of the time. So, I think the chemistry is going to be better than what people expect thanks to that preseason. Obviously, they're going to still have to build, but I'm confident that, they're going to have more chemistry than other MLS teams that may have not had as strenuous preseasons.
Yeah, Phil likes more of the European, German style, more long balls and that kind of stuff. How do you think he's going to do now? Because I was happy he got a shot because I can't blame him for everything that was going on here at times. I think there was a lot of stuff that was out of his control too at the same time. So I'm happy for him that he gets this opportunity. And by the way, a pretty damn good organization.
Yeah, honestly, the Portland Timbers and Thorns, they've had some controversy over the years with some cover-ups regarding Merritt Paulson and some sexual assaults that I believe that happened. There's a whole write-up on that, and they're in some controversy. The fans aren't happy with the organization, honestly. So them hiring Neville just kind of didn't really inspire them. Hopefully he does okay, but a lot of fans are just not really expecting much this season. They haven't really improved their attack. They brought in Kamal Miller and a bunch of goalkeepers, but Neville is not. He can't really coach that attack regardless. So let's see. Maybe they'll do better. He'll do better on the West, but I know Timbers fans are not necessarily looking forward to anything.
You don't sound too hopeful.
No, honestly, yeah.
Follow her on Twitter at AAW_1998 and catch her work at the Bleacher Report, 90 Minutes US. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Heron's Nest. As always, Alex, thank you for taking some time. Enjoy the game tonight. Thank God it's here, man. Thank God it's here. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. The great Alex Windley. She does an excellent job. So she's making me feel a little better about the defense. Okay. All right. I'm not this guru. She is. So I'm going to take her word for it. So I had Kamal Miller a little too overrated, apparently.
This is the Big O Show.